Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
All right, fellas, welcome to the PHFL
All right, fellas.
Power Ranking Show. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the top teams in the PHFL, take a deep dive into their season thus far, and give you. I mean, this was a tough voting. We reached out to a couple of pundits. We reached out to a couple of highly esteemed coaches and GMs, and we came up with our Power Five. We do have an honorable mention section, so we definitely want to make sure that we tap into that section to give some kudos to the team that are right on the brink of the prestigious PFL Power Five. The first thing we want to do is we want to go through. Give me a second here. We want to go through the honorable mention section. So in the honorable mention section, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now are 4-0. Again, they could crack the Power Five after their Week 4 game versus the Chargers. Again, this definitely could change with the upcoming week. Also in the honorable mention section is your Green Bay Packers. Now, they do have the Chargers, the Bucks, the Bears, and the Rams in upcoming games, so they'll be able to definitely put some good film on tape and definitely have an outside shot of reaching the PHFL Power Five. We did have to show some love to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they got the Jags and the Rams up next, so their honorable mention status more than likely will be short-lived. But again, they're 3-1. They do have a victory over the fourth team in the honorable mention section, which is the New York Giants. They are a team right now that's on a PHFL watch list, especially after their victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, those are kind of your PHFL ranking honorable mention. One of the things before we do get into the PHFL Power 5 is look at the coaches thus far with the best records in the PHFL. So, we're 5 seasons in? And I mean, right now, when you look at it from a coaching perspective, the Ravens, and again, the got to get on my editor. The Raiders are actually 44-9, but they do have the second best record in the PHFL. But right now, the Raiders have the best record. Coach Jim Spot is 50-5 with a 90% winning percentage. So right now in this franchise iteration, the Baltimore Ravens under Coach Spot Harbaugh have the best record in the PHFL at 50-5. The second best record in the PHFL, again, definitely please excuse us for the typo. I'm going to fire our editor immediately, is the Las Vegas Raiders. They are 44-9. Again, DZ Carroll, has went to that program and has definitely turned those guys around. And so, again, they are 44-9, the second best record in the PHFL in our current franchise iteration. The third best record is a tie, and it was rather surprising. But again, you got to tip your hat to Coach Shifty, 43-13, tied with your Los Angeles Chargers. Both of those teams right now have a 76% winning percentage at 43-13. So again, those guys are definitely, premier coaches in the PHFL. And then coming in, rounding out the top 5, and we mentioned a couple of honorable mentions, the Indianapolis Colts under Coach Shump. 41-14 with a 74% winning percentage. Again, if you're winning 70% of your games, 7 out of 10 every season, then you're pretty much, again, got to call yourself in that elite status. So again, rounding out, again, kind of reviewing the top 5, you got the Ravens. Coach Spot Harbaugh is at 50-5. Coach DZ Carroll is at 44-9. Coach Shifty Ryan is at 43-13. Coach FB Harbaugh is at 43-13, and Coach Shump at 41-14 rounds out the top 5. The next two are the Commanders at 36-19, and the Rams at 35-20, both with a 65% winning percentage. So again, looking at these coaches, The top five. I mean, you can mock them, you can mimic, you can have a lot of you can focus on a lot of kind of if ands and buts and candy and nuts. But again, these guys are with the most wins in the PHFL. And again, the Browns, they're 31-7, so they do have a higher winning percentage, have lower total wins, but they're a team also that we had to look at as well as far as one of the best coaches in the PHFL. Now, without further ado, let's get into the PHFL Power 5, starting off with team number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, your Los Angeles Chargers. Their current record is 4-0. Their key win was over the Commanders. They have a PHFL Advanced Analytics score of plus 21. Again, looking at this team, overall, definitely a good, solid team. They're going to play great. They're going to play good defense. Looking at them, they're 7th overall in points allowed. Again, that may change, and probably have a sneaky suspicion that will change after their upcoming game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. But again, you can't look forward. We have to look ahead. And right now, we're focusing on what's in front of us. Your Los Angeles Chargers, again, 7th in points scored, or points allowed, rather. They're 9th in total yards, 9th in passing yards, and 13th in defense, and have a top 10 rushing offense at 3rd and 9th as with points scored. So, again, the Chargers are coming in as the 5th ranked team in the PHFL Power 5. Coming in at number 4 in the PHFL Power 5 is your Las Vegas Raiders, coming in at 3-1 with a PHFL Advanced Analytics score of 25. Their key win was over the Colts. Again, they're 3-1. Again, this is going to be a heavily offensive team. Coach Deasy is always going to have a prolific offense. They're going to be top 10 in scoring. They're going to be top 10 in passing yards. So you look at from a statistical perspective, they are 4th in scoring. They are 6th rather in scoring. They're 4th in total yards. They're 2nd in the PHFL in passing, and they're 29th running the football. Defensively, they're going to give up yardage, and it's probably, I don't know whether or not that's more of teams have to kind of pass the ball as a result of being behind. But again, they're only giving up 19 points per game. So they are 2nd in the PHFL in scoring allowed as far as defense. In the top half, 15th in total yards, 14th in passing yards, and 16th in rushing yards. So again, the number 4 team in the PHFL Power 5 is your Las Vegas Raiders. The number 3 team, again, this may come as a surprise, but again, with analytics, we go in, we crunch the numbers. My crack staff, they'll go through it, and they did the pros and cons, and they put all the numbers in. And our 3rd team in the PHFL Power 5 is, ladies and gentlemen, your Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a key win in week 1 over the Rams and another key win over the Texans. They have an advanced analytics score of 26.5. And looking at the Texans, again, solid on defense. They're 8th in points allowed. They're 4th in total yardage. They're 8th in passing yards allowed and 9th in rushing yards allowed. So again, top 10 defense across the board. Coach Yales are going to throw the ball. I mean, it's going to be it's not even going to be by land, or it's going to strictly be by air. They're 4th in the PHFL in passing yards, 12th in points scored at 34 points per game, 13th in passing yards, and again in rushing, they're towards the bottom at 22nd. In passing yards. So again, looking at the Jaguars, again, 2 good wins over the Rams, who are 3-1, and over the Texans. So again, you definitely have to factor a lot of different things in, and they do have a PHFL Advanced Analytics score of 26.5. And then the number 2 team in the PHFL Power 5 is, ladies and gentlemen, your defending champion Chicago Bears have an advanced analytics score of plus 27. Their key win thus far was over the Raiders. They're 3-1. They literally have the number 1 ranked, and again, you guys can't see that, apologies, but they have the number 1 ranked rushing attack. If A-Chain is not leading right now in the MVP race, then there's something wrong with the AI configuration when it comes to awarding, those types of statistics. This kid has literally transformed the Bears offense that was leaning a tad bit heavy on Caleb Williams last year. A-Chain right now has 1,000 yards in 4 games. Let me repeat that again. 123 carries, 1,023 yards, 15 touchdowns in 4 football games. Right now, I mean, this is probably going to be a record setting pace for A-Chain. And looking at the PHFL rushing yards in a season, it looks like, again, we haven't had an actual PHFL coach to break a record in rushing. It's been, right now, it's Eric Dickerson back in 1985 with 2,105 yards. So more than likely that record is going to fall. Passing yards, Lamar holds the passing yards for a season with 7,400. He also holds the record for touchdowns in a season with 84. That's a record. Zachariah Branch, again, the Triple Crown winner. His coach, unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, took his talents to the Denver Broncos, but definitely didn't leave the cupboard bare because Branch, again, he the first wide receiver in PHFL history to have the Triple Crown. And right now he has the record with catches, 161, touchdowns, 31, and yards, 2,480. Daniil Hunter is the PHFL record holder in sacks with 29. And let's see, that's Nitrain Lane for the Rams in 1953 has 14 interceptions. So definitely some great records so far that have been broken in the PHFL. And then without further ado, and right now, arguably no surprise that, ladies and gentlemen, your Baltimore Ravens are the number 1 team in the PHFL power ranking. Number 1, their PHFL advanced analytics score is plus 32. Their key win was over the second place Bears. They're right now currently at 4-0. And right now it's just an offensive juggernaut, number 1 in points, number 1 in passing yards, number 2 in total yards, and kind of mid on defense. But again, when you're averaging close to 52 points per game, I mean, I don't know if defense is even going to factor in. Again, we definitely caught up with Coach Shump, who unfortunately was unable to meet up with those Ravens, because that would have definitely been a game that, the entire PHFL was locked into. But unfortunately, they was unable to lock heads during that game. Unfortunately, Coach Shump had some obligations that he had to definitely attend to. So again, those are your PHFL Power 5. We went through kind of the coaching records thus far in the PHFL. Right now, looking at kind of a review thus far, we did have a couple of Week 5 games that we can at least have some conversation about here in this week in the PHFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers outscored the Chargers 7. Let me repeat the score again, because sometimes it's hard to believe some of the scores. 78-59. Again, this wasn't a NCAA game. This wasn't a March Madness game. This was a game with over almost 1,400 yards of offense, 137 points scored. Defense, again, there were 7 total turnovers, 5 by the Chargers and 2 by the Steelers. But again, almost 1,400 yards of total offense between these two teams who were both undefeated. So again, I don't know how you would look at this game as far as a measuring stick. You definitely have to give Coach Twitch some kudos, because again, he's just coming back to the sidelines, and this was really his first major test, and he definitely passed it, at least from an offensive perspective, with flying colors. We did have a Cleveland Browns coach, but I believe, again, it's the PHFL is tough, so again, he couldn't hack it. And again, they were defeated by the Raiders 38-14. Coach Shifty got his first victory of the season, 51-17 over the Patriots. And we do have a couple of PHFL games upcoming this afternoon as we wrap up week number 5 in the PHFL. So again, we went through and we went through our Power 5 just to, give an overview. So let's kind of go back again. You have your Ravens as number one. Hold on. Number two was your Chicago Bears. Number three was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number four was the Las Vegas Raiders. Number five was the Los Angeles Chargers. We went through our top five coaches as far as wins are concerned. Again, that is Coach Spot Harbaugh, Coach Deasy, Coach Shifty is tied with Coach FB and Coach Shump as far as total wins are concerned. And then our PHFL honorable mention is the Steelers leading the pack. They're probably going to crack the top five after their victory over the Chargers. You have the Packers, the Falcons, and the Giants. So again, another great week of PHFL action. Again, we're setting the tone. We're the trendsetters when it comes to content. So again, make sure that you continue to tap in the league and to continue to support. This is your boy, the All Ball